The theme for today is identity.
My name is Caroline.
Let's just call me Pong.
I'm a teacher at Inner Mongolia Unomo University.
Thank you for inviting me.
Really happy to be a part of the ArtLift program.
The artwork I'm showing is called Inner Space.
And this has been a bad couple of years for identity. Identity is being used in countries around the world, and particularly here in America. Identity is being used to separate us.
My name is Caroline. I'm much older than any of you, but never mind, that doesn't matter. That's just an identity, like an identity situation that we shouldn't really bother with. That all art, whether you say, it is quote unquote abstract or not, it's irrelevant. We're all communicating and seeing. This is outside a back door of a restaurant, which has been very hard hit. And it's just, I would walk by this restaurant a lot. It's just behind where I teach. I walked by and I just was totally struck. It's actually there's 4 different parts to this painting. This is just one part.
That's my favorite of her pieces because especially the time we're living in, and the fact that living in San Francisco, you basically see nothing but restaurants that are going out of business, and I think that basically kind of gives the mood of what we're experiencing right now. And so, but I really like the contrast of the orange door. That's all I can say. It's just very effective.
Hello, my name is Yumi. I'm an artist in entertainment and fine artist based in LA. I was fascinated because there was plants growing out of the pavement, out of the roads, from random places that I'd never seen them before. And I was really inspired by kind of that almost ruthlessness to just come back wherever. And at the time, I had just lost my job actually, and so I felt kind of lost. And so those plants sort of I felt inspired and kind of encouraged by seeing those plants and how they were just growing wherever they could.
The most fascinating painting is the very first one, because it's got so much happening with it. With the bright red around her and the flowers. So I found that to be disturbing. It's a disturbing painting and it's really good. The others are beautiful too. Don't get me, that's the one that really resonated.
I belong to a collage group that we meet once a month at one of the galleries, and we just have a bunch of magazines and things that we sort through and pick out pieces. So this didn't have there was no philosophy behind it. Basically, I just found a bunch of images that I liked that fit together. But this was the first one in this current series. I like, there's some Chinese newspaper. I like using Chinese characters. I don't know what they say. I just like the way they look. And so I incorporate them in a lot of my work. When I was in Spain about a year ago, there's a lot of Picasso. And one of the quotes from Picasso was, "Bad artists copy, good artists steal." And so I've always stolen. I mainly steal geometry. Living in San Francisco is a very Chinese place. And so I have many Chinese friends, but that's not why. I just like the look of Chinese characters. And so, my fear has always been that somebody was going to look at my art and read what it says and think that I'm, saying something, which I'm not. I mean, I don't even know what it says. I just, I say, well, I'm going to put that in that piece there because I like the way those characters look. And that's the extent of the communication. So I've always kind of feared somebody kind of taking exception to how I use the Chinese characters, but that I don't worry about that too much.
Hello, Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be invited in this event. The artwork I'm showing is called Inner Space. I choose to use the 3 primary colors in nature, red, yellow, and blue, to make the cube boxes to present the work. Perfect straight lines in right angles do not exist in nature. But nowadays we live in all straight lines, right angles, all kinds of big boxes like buildings. And sometimes our hearts are framed in boxes just like our bodies are.
I'm interested to know if she has ever studied or been introduced to the work of the Bauhaus, which is now one at the great school with Vasily Kandinsky, Paul Klee. Her work seems to me to emulate that particular movement, if she is familiar with it.
Like, she personally is influenced by the Bauhaus movement because as someone living in China, a lot of the buildings in China are inspired by the Bauhaus designs, like to meet the maximum capacity. So you get like these little squares of like apartments, rooms. And Wenlu feels like living in these like little box, you kind of, you feel like you're living in a box, you're constrained. And
Just call me Pong, like ping pong, like that. Okay, so I'm originally from Thailand, as some of you may know, and right now I am a concept artist working in game and animation industry. This is one of my example about how I mix the cuteness with the war machine, basically, and also the lighting that I love. Like, they're just stuck in the mud and try to be serious, but at the end of the day, they are just a cute animal with a war machine, which is kind of related to the real life. Even though people are making war, even we are human, and we thought like we are so smart than other animals, but we are still one of the creature on this world that driving a chunk of iron to fight each other, basically. Yeah, but we are still like one kind of creature anyway.
I think her work is awesome. Like, this is sort of like the work that I was like studying when I was in school, because I was doing entertainment art. And so like, this is like, I can really see like your fascination and your skill at lighting, and like I could tell that you've studied, like done plein air painting and things like that. So I love seeing this sort of work, and it really gets me excited to see like the personal art of like entertainment artists too, because like sometimes entertainment art for like a company is really rigid, but I love seeing the sort of more like fun and like the personality of like artists like this. Like, I think it's really cool.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to see you and your work. I'm a teacher at Inner Mongolia UNOMO University, and my name is Lunis. After graduating, I made some style and color changes in my works, but it is still difficult to break away from the limitations of thinking that my long-term realistic training has brought to me. For example, we all know that the way of seeing as an artist is very important. And when I look at an object, it is always difficult to break away from the way of seeing that I have learned before in realistic painting.
And I'm particularly moved by the girl in the middle.
Ah,
I'm very moved by that
I think
painting.
Mongolian girl.
Yeah,
Mongolian. Yeah.
I'm very moved by that painting. I think it's very strong, very powerful, very
Yes.
powerful painting in
It's
any way.
Thanks, everyone. It's a great meeting.
Bye.
Okay, thank you,
you.
Darren.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank
Bye.
you. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you.